Does anyone really know what hormones do? There is so much talk about women's hormonal health, but most women are left even more confused about what it means for them and what to do about it. The confusion ends now.
An award-winning German nutrition scientist created a powerful herbal formula called Hormone Harmony, which contains 12 powerful adaptogens into one single capsule. Each of these ingredients is carefully selected based on scientific evidence and has been proven effective in clinical studies for women of various ages and hormonal profiles.
Happy Mammoth, the company that produces Hormone Harmony, is famous for its zero compromise policy. No GMOs, artificial fillers or flavors, or any other junk. Only science-backed ingredients in amounts that are clinically proven.
What makes this formula unlike anything else on the market is that it tackles multiple hormone imbalances at the same time, creating a cascade of benefits all throughout the body and mind.
Hormone Harmony has over 50,000 raving reviews from women all over the world, with 98% of them saying they'd gladly recommend it to their friends and family.
For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code BLAME at checkout.
You can try Hormone Harmony risk-free and get 15% off your first order with code BLAME at checkout.
This episode is brought to you by Blink, an Amazon company. Think you're ready for Prime Day? With up to 50% off Blink Smart Security, you will be. With crisp HD video, real-time alerts, and two-way talk, you'll know the moment your packages arrive. Save big on Blink Smart Security, starting at just $19.99 with the Blink Mini 2 plug-in camera. Shop now at amazon.com/blink.
No matter how you travel, it's good to have a plan. Some people plan every minute. No sleep, bus, museum, another museum. While others only plan to take it day by day. When it comes to your finances, a plan is just as important. You can count on Credit Karma to give you the insights you need to understand your options, so you can take charge of your financial path and find your way to money. Explore how you can make financial progress with confidence today. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing, Megan?
You know, keeping on. Welcome to a brand new episode.
Wow, didn't ask how I was doing.
You're right. And I just move on completely. Yeah, and pivot. No.
What a bitch.
How are you doing? We've already been sitting here talking, so I always forget.
For hours.
I know. How are you doing? What's new?
I'm doing spectacular.
You look spectacular. I love the eyeshadow, by the way. It's making your eyes pop.
Thanks. I did it up.
Oh.
So I was trying it out. So I'm glad that you noticed.
I didn't even notice it as a different positioning, but it does make your eyes pop, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
Wow. Love it. Maybe if you guys are really nice to her, she'll film a tutorial for you on Patreon.
It'd be all of 2 seconds.
Yeah, she's like,
because it's one of those pins that we got from
Thrive Cosmetics.
Yeah, Thrive, and I just went up instead of going over like I usually do. So
it looks great.
Thank you.
Beautiful. You can check it out over on our Patreon. Watch the video version of the podcast. See how gorgeous and stunning we are. And what is this podcast? We're giving you advice.
Oh, I thought you were asking me a question.
Yeah, what's up? What is our podcast?
This is Don't Blame Me. We are giving advice. You can call in, write in, send a pigeon carrier. We won't accept that because it'll be covered in bird things. Mm-hmm. And but otherwise, shoot us a message and we will do our best to answer your advice. Also, make sure you are using the correct form.
Yeah, we've got 2 different forms listed. They're in the show notes. They're also in our social media. And just do the reading. Just know that there's a form for each of our shows. So in doing that, it's worded differently. So you'll be able to tell which one you're writing in for. And if you want to give us a call, it's 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send an email. Or even if you're not international, you just prefer to type out an email, meghanpodcast@gmail.com. But if you're international and you're like, I don't want to just type out an email. I want you to hear my gorgeous voice and my super sexy accent. Send us a voice memo to that email. We would love it.
Put it in the form too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we do ask that you are, well, actually, we don't ask. We demand that you are 18 or over and that you let us know how old you are. Not just that you're over 18. We need to know exactly how old you are. You don't have to tell us your sign. You can if you want to. But we need to know how old everyone in the story is, the problem, the situation, because it makes a world of a difference to know where you're at in your life. And if you're like, I'm a young 25, explain I'm a young 25. Like,
what does that mean?
Yes. And if you're like, I'm actually really mature for my age, which is why it's okay I'm dating a 65-year-old, you have to tell us how much money he has.
And how close to death he is.
Exactly. How is his heart? How are his arteries? Did you swap the Cheerios for Frosted Flakes?
Right.
We got to know.
Gotta know.
And we're here to help you with that if you need help.
Did you put stuff on your nose?
I have blush on my nose.
It's cute.
Thank
I noticed
you.
it earlier and I didn't say anything, but I did notice it because it looks like a smattering of freckles.
Ooh, thank you. So I have a zit on my nose that is incredibly stubborn to cover up. And it's like a scab of a zit because when I put my glasses on there, so I have just leaned in to just not doing as much makeup on my nose and then doing the blush to be like, it's giving sunburned because it's right
if I
here.
didn't know you, I think that you just have freckles there.
Perfect. One of them is a scar. I mean, or knock on
It
wood.
just
I hope
looks
it
like
a
cluster, but yeah.
Thank you. It's my new favorite trick. It's called blonzer, like a blush that's kind of a mix between a bronzer and a blush shade, which I like.
Okay.
It's good.
I didn't know if we were going like, you said blonzer as opposed to bronzer. And I didn't know if we were going like brownie as opposed to blondie.
I hear all of those words. I don't totally know what you're asking.
If you're with me, then you're with me.
And you know what? Sometimes I'm in the dust, and that's okay. Sometimes things goes, ooh.
What I feel passionately about is calling a brownie and a blondie a blondie, but do not call, when you're mixing strawberries in, do not call that a strawberry brownie. The name is derived from the color.
Oh, no, that's actually
a strawberry.
Yeah, that's false advertising. That's fake information. That's fake news. Like, I am filing a complaint with the Better Business Bureau if you tell me it's a strawberry. No, I've actually, I feel so bad for you because I've never seen that, and that would make me irate.
Well, they've come across our feed.
And you say not interested?
And I've been holding it down and saying not interested.
Wow, you've been doing the Lord's work. I appreciate it.
Yeah, because I do not want them popping up. They're doing it with several different fruits, but calling them all a brownie, but with that name. They're calling it, but what it is actually is a blondie.
There's a name for it.
Yeah, but a blondie mixed with strawberry.
It's not strawberry blondie.
Right. Which that makes sense. But a strawberry brownie does not make sense. There's not even fudge in it.
That is crazy. Do people not understand that it's not only just the flavor of why it's called that, but the color?
That's what I said a minute ago.
Oh my God. Wow.
Infuriates me.
Infuriates me, and I've never even seen it in person. Fucking hell.
I've been shielding you.
Thank you so much for protecting my poor little eyes from the horror. Oh, well, we've got a wonderful episode for you. So let's change some lives. Dive in.
Let's dive in. This is two professional divers.
Oh. Ooh. That's even scarier than swimming. You can't plug your nose. How should I operate at a birthday party my no-contact ex will be attending? For context, my 29 they ex, 25 he him, broke up with me late January, and up until May 20th, we had been trying to be friends. Over those 4 months, I really didn't get to process the breakup as I was too busy trying to be a good friend, then hurting my own feelings, thinking about how badly he had treated me during the relationship, picked fights with him over the way he treated me, and got jealous of every girl whose Instagram posts he would like while he ignored mine. On May 20th, I decided to cut all contact with him as I didn't feel like we were healthy friends, and I do feel like no contact has been good for my healing. We are both involved in community theater, and a mutual friend has a huge beach birthday party every year in July. I don't really want to break no contact, but I do want to avoid drama at the party. I'm thinking of texting him the day of and asking if we can be cool with each other just for the day. I don't know if this is a bad idea or not. I'm going to have plenty of people to talk to because they're mutual friends. The chances of being in the same conversations with him are actually very high, or I risk being pushed out of conversations over my decision to go no contact. This party is something I look forward to every year, and I don't want our beef to sour the experience for anyone, mostly myself. Thanks in advance for your help.
As someone who has someone adjacent in their family that they do not like at all, have never liked this person. But thankfully, 18 years has come and passed. I hate him. Everyone knows this. And we are thankfully at the last event in May together that we'll ever have to be at. Thankfully, everyone knows. And I think you need to let everyone know how you feel about this person. And we exist in the same group of people, a smaller group than you're in. And I just simply act like he's not there. I don't look him in the eyes. I know his presence is there. I don't say hi, cat, dog, move out my way. I used to cuss him out every time I saw him, but I've grown as a person. Yeah. Now, just doesn't exist to me.
You can't see him. Like
I can't see him.
Physically
his
cannot see him.
Presence is there.
Mm-hmm. It's a
but
shadow.
I don't see him.
Yeah. No defining facial characteristics. There's absolutely nothing. When he talks, want, can't see, can't hear, any of that.
Right.
I think that is the ultimate way to go. And the only way that does not work is if this person, this guy, if he does not let that work. Mm-hmm. If he's an instigator. So like, I'm a big believer in like no contact in general. Like the biggest thing from like what you've said, breaking like I think what Melissa's describing, that's not necessarily breaking no contact. Like you're in the same space. You're not talking any of that. But I think like texting him ahead of time is without a doubt breaking no contact because like it is a one-on-one conversation. It is like more private, is more intimate. Like it is not like an obligation. It is like you're going out of your way to do something. It's not like, oh, I happen to see this person at the grocery store, and it's not like you're going to drop the eggs and run. Like that's like the level. But if it's so volatile in the sense that like it doesn't sound like it is like a unsafe situation because it sounds like, it doesn't sound like you have an issue with this person being friends with your other friends. Like it is what it is. But I would say that like, unless they are like an instigator, an agitator, they're going out of their way for it. Like, unless it's going to make the circumstance and the situation, he is going to go out of his way to like make it a show. He's going to give it like fucking wild and crazy. Then I think that like the person you talk to is the person whose birthday it is. And if they also know that this is who he is, if that is something within his character traits, then it's like, hey, and he's invited, then I'm going to bow out from, I would love to attend, but like, I don't totally trust that he's not going to like make a scene. And I really don't want to do that on your birthday. Mm-hmm. That's what I would say. But other than that, you can just quite literally pretend he like does not exist.
Right.
Like you see right through him.
Yeah.
Can't see him, can't hear him.
Right. John Cena.
Like the monkeys. La la la. La la la.
I was like, you're missing one. But then you did it at the same time. You did them here. So you covered them both.
I said, no sense. The monkey can't see, the monkey's not speaking, and the monkey can't hear. The monkey, asleep. The monkey, not fucking present. I think you're reading into this because, I mean, even you seem very particular because the fact that you know the exact day that like you stopped, like you went no contact, you have to think of this as like ships passing in the night. Like, and no contact is, in my eyes, far more for private moments and like things that are related to like relationship kind of moments. Like there are people who have gone no contact with significant others and they have kids and like they have to co-parent their kids and like they do it through another person, but it's like it's not that they've never laid eyes on that person ever again. Yeah. So there are ways to do it.
Even if it's like drop off and pick up, swapping kids, they'll meet like at a neutral place.
Yeah.
And the kids will get out the car and get in the car. Mm-hmm. And they never talk to each other.
Yeah. So you can be in the same space, but in general, I think for your mental health too, the best way to do it is like you keep it all unplanned, public, like happenstance, like in the sense, again, like you saw him at the grocery store.
Yeah. And let your friends know. Is there like one or two friends that you would be cool with where maybe one of them can say something to him like, hey, she does not want to talk to you. She wants to keep up with no contact. Can you please respect her boundaries?
Mm-hmm. And if not, you can leave. Mm-hmm. And if those people, if your friends are like, if he's not respecting those boundaries and like the person whose party it is not being like, you need to get out of here, then you got to leave because you're the only one who can enforce your own boundaries. Yeah. Other people can respect them, but you have to be the one to enforce.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we'll get into the next one. Is the state of the U.S. making you want to escape?
Yes. And you can take the first step and learn the language before you go. Who makes it easy, Melissa?
Babbel makes it easy.
We are so happy that we have a new sponsor. It is Babbel, and not to fangirl too hard. We begged Babbel. We said, Babbel, Babbel, we need you.
Our audience wants you and needs you and asked us, hey, who do you guys recommend for languages?
And we're happy to say it's Babbel.
Not only do sometimes I want to escape, but I also want to stay here and talk to the people here on the ground, especially in our state of California. So I want to brush up and make my Spanish stronger. I took Spanish throughout school. I took Spanish and French, but I really, really need to strengthen my Spanish. What about you?
Spanish is the language that I grew up in California. So like that is like you said, like from the time that I could talk, like the names of different streets. It was so like ingrained, handcrafted by over 200 language experts. Yeah, they are voiced by, get ready, voiced by real native speakers.
Real people.
Oh, and they're built with science-backed cognitive tools like spaced repetition and interactive features to fit any learning style. I'm a big fan of Babbel games. This girl loves a game.
We both love games.
And like the sentence building stuff. So having it be in like a game format makes me feel, it doesn't make me feel like I'm learning. It doesn't make me feel like I'm being scolded in school. I'm just like learning something new, but I'm mostly playing a game.
We want you to learn another language. So we're teaming up with Babbel to give you 55% off subscriptions, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/don'tblameme.
Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/don'tblameme, spelled BABBEL.com/don'tblameme.
Babbel.com/don'tblameme.
Rules and restrictions may apply.
HelloFresh is going to help me enjoy my summer more because I will spend less time looking for groceries, trying to figure out like what I'm going to eat. It's just delivered straight to me, and it makes things so much easier so I can be outside basking in the sun.
Spending less time in the kitchen, more time eating delicious things, and having a great time, which is all what summer's about. This summer, HelloFresh has made it even easier to enjoy delicious, healthy, and homemade quality meals with their new ready-made meals. These heat-and-go HelloFresh meals are chef-crafted, flavorful dishes, ready in, guess how many minutes? Oh, it's just 3. So you can dig in and go do summer right.
My mouth is already watering looking at this Southwest-inspired chicken bowl and the stir-fried udon with pulled pork and veggies. There's also a creamy Alfredo truffle pasta and an Indian-inspired chicken paired with turmeric rice. Drool. These are all ready to eat after a quick spin in the microwave.
We love HelloFresh. We have sung their praises for so long. I have to give a shout out though. The Mushu pork lettuce wraps changed my life. Absolutely so good. I think it has to be one of my favorites I've ever had. Make your summer enjoyable and delicious by signing up for HelloFresh at hellofresh.com/blameme10fm and get 10 free meals with a free item for life.
That's hellofresh.com/blameme10fm for 10 free meals and a free item in every box.
HelloFresh.com/blameme10fm. 1 per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
It can be overwhelming to manage a business, especially when you're first starting out. Your to-do list just keeps growing every day with new tasks, and that list can easily begin to overrun your life. Finding the right tool not only helps you out, but can simplify problems you haven't even encountered yet. And for millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify can help you easily build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. Shopify.com/realm.
We're back, and it is time for the next.
Hi, don't blame me. I'm a huge fan of the podcast and absolutely love you guys. I'm 24 years old and currently living with my fiance and a roommate. Oof. For a while, things were great, but lately, not so much. My roommate, Sarah, was initially fantastic. She had a full-time job, was taking night classes, and really seemed to have her life in order.
She was never around.
Exactly. Which was a big reason I asked her to move in. Plus, she was looking to get out of an apartment she shared with an overbearing ex. When she moved in, everything clicked. We got along really well. But recently, things have taken a turn. Sarah barely helps around the apartment. She doesn't clean, contribute to groceries, or really pull her weight. She leaves her belongings everywhere. What's even more concerning is that she's been lying to me about who she's bringing over. It turns out she's been letting in the overbearing ex she was trying to get away from. I'd never met him, but I'd heard plenty of negative stories. When I realized who he was, I became extremely uncomfortable with him being in our shared space. I tend to be very blunt and straightforward, usually preferring to address issues head on. However, I've learned that this approach doesn't work with Sarah. She struggles with communication and avoids confrontational conversations. Any advice you could offer would be amazing, or let me know if you need more details. Thank you so much, and I adore your podcast. Bye.
I'm hung up on the grocery thing.
Maybe they just share groceries. They have a HelloFresh account together, and then they cook.
And she just doesn't buy groceries.
Mm-hmm.
And she just eats the food that you buy.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm far more... That's the part that I have a way bigger issue with than bringing around the ex, because I do think your fiance, I'm sure, is great. But in general, I think if you live with a couple, I think if it's two single people, or not even two single people, but like two people living together, not in a relationship, then I think you have a little bit more of a say about who people who you bring over. Because it's like, this is a shared equally space. I think when it is a couple living with a single person, I don't necessarily think that you have like the same kind of grounds to stand on for expectations, because like you're not bringing any seemingly romantic partners over, and like living with a couple is hard, and like you obviously have pre-vetted your relationship, but like I just think that, and I also think there's a certain kind of single person who's cool living with a couple, and it's I don't know how much you can say.
When you say overbearing, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Was he abusive?
Because that's different.
That's different. And so if she is allowing the abuser to come into your home, your shared home, then I think that's a huge issue.
And I think you need to call it by the name then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because overbearing doesn't mean... Overbearing is like...
I do feel like it's towing the line. Overbearing is towing the line. It's very close, but if that's what you actually mean, then please say it, because that does change the perspective.
Yeah, overbearing can also mean like this person is a lot. Like it's a big personality. It's like very loud, very boisterous, like very all in. It could even be like just someone who is, all or nothing, like at 100% all the time. And that's like very hard, or wants to know what everyone's doing. Like it doesn't sound like, regardless, it's not a positive trait in this, but like it does completely change the level of what I think you have grounds to stand on.
But you did say that you've heard some terrible stories about him.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like when people are breaking up with people, they do tell terrible stories and don't tell the good. But if he was abusive, that changes everything.
Totally.
And also the fact that she was trying to get away from him. So I need more information with this.
Yeah. I also think that like you're allowed to have a shitty ex that you go back to. And like, I will also be honest, if it was like really toxic and abusive or borderline abusive or like leading to it being abusive, then I think that you need to scrap every other issue you have with her as a roommate, because being in an abusive relationship is not a poor decision as a roommate. Like, that's not like, it's not weighed the same as like, I think it is fucking crazy that she's not paying for groceries. But like, if she's in an abusive relationship and you want to help out with that, like, this is not like hey, we have to have a roommate talk. You need to start contributing to groceries. You need to start cleaning up, and you're in an abusive relationship. Yeah. Those things are not the same. Like, and I think you need to like, she might not, if it is that, do you think maybe how she's treating the apartment and how she's behaving now is connected to that? Like,
right.
That can be just a side effect of the bigger picture issue. And yeah, again, like, it's really hard to find, and I'm sure you know because you went through all this, but like, it's really hard to find a single person who wants to live with a couple. It's really fucking hard. And I think that she told you she really wanted to get away from a like toxic ex and all of that. I do think that like you've probed this conversation to start with her. So like you already know enough about this. And I think you're saying like, I don't want to have a confrontational conversation. How did that initial conversation go when she was looking for a place and she brought up her relationship? Because I don't think it should be confrontational on your end, unless it is just that like he's annoying, he's very needy, he's got a big personality, and like you don't like him, and like you don't like him for her, but like it's not dangerous or unhealthy or whatever, and then that is a roommate issue. Then it is like, I don't like the person I don't like your judge of character of bringing this person around to our place, but you also legally she can like there is something of being like, even if, unless it is something that's like an evict worthy and you own like the place.
If he's over there more than, because I think depending on the state,
yeah,
so I can't even, but like if somebody is staying the night more than, I think it's 14 days
in total, but then even certain sequence,
it's it has to be
yeah.
So like here in California, then like they are legally either required to be on the lease or they can't stay. So if there's something where, depending on what kind of agreement, I don't know if you own your place and she's renting from you or whatever, there might be a loophole in here somewhere. But even if he like just doesn't, in that sequence, doesn't come over for one day, it starts over again.
Yeah. So I think that like you have to figure out or decide, what are you trying to help a friend out of an abusive relationship, or do you have a roommate who is, you know, are you regretting having a roommate situation that like you might feel like maybe you didn't vet as well as you would have liked, and that she's a little more toxic or drama centric than you would have preferred, as well as being deeply avoidant? Because like they're just two separate things and two different ways you go about it, because you cannot chastise someone for being in an abusive relationship, nor I think like the repercussions of like what happens and how that bleeds into other aspects of your life. And then in that case, like it is important, if you are feeling unsafe in your own home, you have a little bit more grounds to stand on versus like, I don't love your partner and this feels like a toxic relationship. That's, your roommate's allowed to have a toxic relationship, and like it sucks without a doubt, but it also sounds like maybe your roommate's around more.
Yeah.
Which is also hard. And I'm not saying that like you have to accept shitty roommates, but in general, again, the pool of people who would want to be in this living situation is relatively small. And there comes a lot of compromise with that, you know?
Yep.
So I would just advise in general, anyone who's opposed to confrontation, can't relate, I would text her ahead of time and be like, hey, like, can we, as opposed to like bombarding her, being like, hey, like, I'm going to make dinner tonight. Let's hang out. Essentially not saying like, hey, we need to talk later.
Maybe
but, like,
not make dinner, because you're already making dinner for her as it is.
Something along the lines of just being like ensuring that she's going to be home and it's just you and her or whatever. And if that's not going to happen, then I think you're entitled to have like a, hey, can we talk? And if that stresses her out, that's fine. She's allowed to be stressed. She will survive. And then bringing it up in the sense of like, either I'm concerned about this, how can I help you out, you know? And even like Melissa said, like, I know when people they're getting out of relationships, they only really say the bad. And so like, I know I've done that, even if you haven't, lie. I've done that in relationships. And so like, I'm obviously worried about you because I've only ever heard these horrible stories about him. And like, I'd love to give you, like, I would love to hear some like the good, I would like love to hear like why you're dating now. Like, are you happy? Are these things? Because like, I feel like it's naturally, I'm a little concerned because I've only ever heard these things. Someone's like, oh my God, no, yeah, it's this, whatever. Because are you seeing poor behavior from him, or are you going based off of something that she has said?
Past, yeah.
So I think, but in general, for people who are like poor communicators or bad at confrontation, it's just like you asking direct questions, not yes or no questions, not just like talking at them and then being like, asking them like, okay, how do you think we can come to a resolution? Make them actually do some of the legwork. And being a poor communicator and bad with confrontation is not a permanent state of mind, nor is it a way that you can exist for your entire life. Like, you have to be able to at some point, and it is not your responsibility to like coddle and cater to that at your, like, in regards to your own expense. Oh, also, and do not have your partner there, just to have it be you.
All right, we're gonna take a break. When we get back, we'll get into some more.
When you hear Lululemon, you probably think of Align yoga pants, weightlessly soft, like you're wearing next to nothing. That's why you see them in class, at the grocery store, and in the park. But did you know about skirts with built-in liner shorts so you can still jump for the Frisbee? And tanks and bodysuits? With Align's iconic stretch, you won't want to take it off. And with endless style options, you don't have to. Shop in-store or online at lululemon.com.
Paradise is back
It's finally here.
in a new location, Costa Rica. There will be adventure, drama, and romance,
All gas, no brakes. That's my vibe.
Ready to find some love.
but it wouldn't be paradise without surprises along the way.
These kids need to learn.
That's right, your favorite Golden alums are crashing the beach,
We bring in a party, baby.
Bachelor in Paradise premieres Monday at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Meet the most capable CRV Honda has ever dreamed of. The all-new CRV Trail Sport Hybrid. With all-terrain tires and available enhanced traction control, it's built for wherever the day takes you. Heated front seats and a heated steering wheel, ideal for winter drives and crisp early starts. And with generous cargo space, it's ready for big gear and even bigger getaways. The CRV Trail Sport Hybrid. Learn more at honda.com/CRV.
We're back. Time for the next. Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I'm writing to you because I, 30 she, her, need advice on whether my friend, 26 she, her, secretly hates me. For context, we are also coworkers with different job titles, but the same boss. I've been working at our place of employment for about 8 years, and she's been working there for 2 years. I recently went back to school for a master's degree to pursue a career change. It's been the best decision I've ever made. I feel more confident in myself and my decisions. I'm so excited about this change in my life. My friend, on the other hand, is struggling with self-confidence. She's dealing with problems in her personal life and trying to get a promotion at work. Whenever she brings it up, I've tried my best to boost her self-esteem and reassure her that things will work out for her. However, I know it's taking a toll on her because she's become more withdrawn. A few days ago, I got an interview for my dream job. When I found out, I told my friend right away. She seemed happy at first, but over time, I feel like she was trying to discourage me. She told me that nobody gets their dream job right after graduating and that I might not stand out compared to the other interviewees. She also makes a point to ask me every day if I've heard back yet. I told her I'd let her know if I did. I feel sad every time it's brought up now. I'm not sure what to make of the situation. Maybe I'm feeling more insecure than I thought, or does it sound like my friend just doesn't want me to get a new job? Well, I don't think your friend secretly hates you.
She might. They might just be your work acquaintances and not actual friends.
Well, I think if your friend hates you, then if the end result is your friend hating you, I don't think that it's a secret because of what she said. So, like, I don't think she necessarily hates you. I think it's coming from a place of jealousy and like a place of insecurity. But if she doesn't,
that could be hate.
No, but if she does not like you, I think that like this is a valid thing to be like, okay, so you did this, doesn't feel like you like me, pulling away, backing up. I don't think it was the right call. You didn't ask, but I don't think it was the right call to immediately tell your friend because I know that you're taking these now as slights. I think she took that as a slight. It feels like you threw the first punch and she's just responding. And to you, it doesn't feel like that. So it feels like you are being poked. And I think for her, it felt like that was, you did it first.
I don't think this person is your friend. And I'm being quite honest with you.
Fair.
Like, I really don't think that this person is your friend. I think they are a work acquaintance that you might have stuff in common with. And they, at the seat of everything, they're jealous of you. You've been at the job longer. You have more experience. You went and got your master's. A friend doesn't come back and say, okay, people don't get their jobs right, their dream jobs right after they graduate. A friend is supportive of you. I do think it's a little, she had a reaction to, I know like she's your friend and you wanted her to be the first person to hear, which I completely understand. But when I was going, looking for jobs and I knew that my friend was also looking for jobs and I'm still employed. I was just looking for writing jobs on top of what I was doing. And this person wasn't employed at all. And I knew that they had been interviewing and frustrated with like the job market. I did not let them know right away when I was looking at jobs because I knew the frustration that they were feeling and I didn't want to add on to that. And so after like some time had passed, I did tell them and they were my biggest cheerleader.
Totally.
And checking in. I think there's a way to go about it when you know that your friend is like struggling and also being there to support them. But I could understand if the first thing she did was negative, but her continued negativity is what makes me think she's not your friend at all.
Yeah. I also think that like I have a hard time with people who like, I love a daydream. Like I love to like dream big. Like I'm a big creative person. I really do not like when people are not rooted in reality. Mm-hmm. I find that like a really hard trait to be close friends with because like, why are we complaining about something that's like, it's so black and white about why this hasn't happened. Like, do you know what I mean? Like someone who's like, it's like someone being like deeply disappointed that they didn't win the lottery. And I'm like, it's statistically, you're not like, it's not, I understand of like wanting a dream job or whatever that is. But like in this situation, like you have been there for 8 years. You are older than she is. You are getting your master's. And this whole thing of just being like, oh, like, you know, people don't get, you don't know, you don't have your master's. You don't know if people like don't get jobs immediately right after. Like it is just like a level of like, this isn't rooted in reality. Like this is rooted from a place of like jealousy. And I agree. I think like the first reaction to that, I think she felt, and I will say, I think you threw the first punch. I don't think you intended to.
But it wasn't meant to be a punch. It was just like, I'm celebrating with my friend.
But that's how she took it. So for her, she felt like she was responding to something. But unless you are not saying something and you have been doing more things, she's no longer responding. She's doing it. She's throwing the first one now. She's starting it again, over and over and over again, asking about other things and like trying to like make you feel bad. And like to that, I think like we're all grown-ups here. If I did something that hurt your feelings and I so clearly didn't mean to, if you think that I meant to hurt your feelings, we shouldn't be friends anymore. You should stop. You should cut me off and we shouldn't be friends. But if you think I did it on accident, you need to tell me that instead of trying to like pick at me and pick at me and pick at me over and over and over again to get to see how you felt. You have to tell me how you felt. Like we're grown-ups here. And I think like this is like super fucking petty from like a friendship level. I think it is fucking insane from a work and friendship level. Yeah. Like I think this is someone who like, even if they don't hate you, they still want to be your friend. This would make me reevaluate the friendship.
Yeah. Yep. Cause it was like, she could have been like, damn, she's kicking me when I'm down. And then had that gut reaction and then came back and be like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I know that you've been working hard, that you've been in school. I was just, a little bit jealous. I'm so happy for you. If that would have been the second move, then I would have been like, okay. But I truly do think that she hates you.
Yeah. And I would be curious to know if you have had any self-reflection of being like, hey, I probably shouldn't have done that. And if you have said that to her already. Because like, I think that
at this point, I wouldn't even do it.
No, I think in general, like moving forward in these things, if you have like a second guessing about like how something came across, say it. Say it in the like, if you clock someone's reaction and being like, oh, I think I probably shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have said that. You can say that in the moment and like, or looking back on that in that instance. But I think in general, I don't know, like I'm also like, I'm not like a reactive person, but like I have to, more often than not, I have to hold myself back from saying something. Mm-hmm. Like whether that's like, you know, interrupting just in general, or if someone says something that I like or I don't like, I'm just going to say it right off the bat. And I think in this instance, you are both, she thinks you're playing like you played some psychological game with her, and now she's like trying to get deep in your psyche. And this is hard. And I will say that like, I don't want this to like jade you or whatever, or as a lesson, but in general, and maybe it's because of like the industry that we're both in, I'm like so big on like not counting your chickens before they hatch, your eggs before they hatch, your chickens.
Eggs.
In the sense that like, if there's something for you to be insecure about, like if you're going to get in your head about it, if the job is not secured, or even if like you have more interviews to come, if there's something that's going to get in your head about it, do not share it in a way that it can make you spiral. So like if it's something where it's like, okay, you know, I'm really nervous about this, and someone following up, did you hear back? Did you hear back? Did you hear back? Did you hear back? Like if that's going to make you spiral, valid. Mm-hmm. Don't tell someone. Don't tell other people like that. And even people who have the best intentions, which I don't necessarily think this friend does, there are people like, same thing of like, I have friends who like, they don't tell their family when they go on a date, because it's like, oh, how was that? How did it go? How did it go? And it's like, you have the best intentions for me, but like you're psyching myself out. And I was so confident and chill and cool about this beforehand that there's like no need to bring on someone else's feelings about this that now I'm wearing as mine.
Yep. I didn't tell my mom about the job I was interviewing for until the third one, where it was over and they had pretty much told me I had a job. They were just waiting for the project to come along. And I didn't tell her because she would have been like that every second, texting and calling, asking, did you hear back? How'd it go? Blah, blah, blah.
You know, also people don't necessarily know how everything works in that way. And so then they get in your head and then you're like, well, now I'm losing touch with the actual reality of I know that this is normal, but this person's acting like it's not normal. And now I'm thinking it's not normal, even though I know it is. Mm-hmm. Also, don't talk about new jobs at your job.
She thought she was talking to her friend.
No, but at your job. Because I think, what if you're someone else overheard in the workplace setting? I think there's some other things that can get messy, which is technically illegal to like rescind if it was an offer, to like rescind an offer because someone got upset, but it happens.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into an update.
I'm 32, juggling family, working full-time, and earning a bachelor's degree. At University of Phoenix, I earn career-relevant skills with every 5-week course. Skills I can use now, not just after graduation.
Earn skills in weeks, not years. Visit phoenix.edu.
This episode is brought to you by Buffalo Trace Distillery. Powerful yet smooth. Contained but never tame. Proudly going their own way, but never going alone. This is the spirit inside Buffalo Trace Bourbon. Made at Buffalo Trace Distillery, the world's most award-winning distillery. Buffalo Trace is always perfectly untamed. Distilled, aged, and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery, Franklin County, Kentucky. 90 proof, 45% alcohol by volume. Learn more at buffalotracedistillery.com. Please drink responsibly.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
We're back and it's time for an update. An update. A dude got oopted.
Is that Simlish?
No, I just talk like this sometimes. This is how you know I've been spending way too much time with Mons. He's always like, what? Making our grocery list. And he's like, I don't know what you're asking me to get.
So he doesn't know either. So it's not even a secret language. Nope. So it's really just you. So him spending time with Mott's really didn't equate to anything.
No, but he humors me in figuring out what it is. But he does have the look of confusion, like trying to type out on the notes app. Huh? Did I do the last one? Okay, sorry.
Now we're going to get into an update, which Megan just said in her weird language. Meghan and Melisa, my update aired June 19th, and I do have more to share. So this was somebody that had called us previously, and they didn't get along with their sister-in-law. And so they were trying to figure out how to coexist with them because their children are around the same age, and they wanted the cousins to have a relationship. They called back, gave us some new information, and then this is the update to that information.
And it should also be noted that one of the more memorable things in the last update was the relationship hasn't necessarily gotten better, and the sister-in-law made a comment that all newborns are ugly. The sister-in-law is pregnant with child, and the writer has what we didn't consider a newborn, but was just past the threshold of what would have been considered. And to some people might consider a newborn. Yeah. I think they're cute by that age.
In clothing, they don't consider that newborn.
Oh, true. Valid point.
That's what I was basing it on.
No, that's a very valid point.
All right. They said, I do have more to share. I mentioned the newborns are ugly comment to give my sister-in-law some credit because honestly, she often makes offhanded remarks. We see each other 1 to 4 times a month, depending on holidays or birthdays. That is a lot. The last time I saw her, she explained to me she's giving her second child a middle name after a deceased relative. I said I understood. I did the same for my second child, same type of relationship, e.g. 2 of mom's first cousins. She had even offered to attend my relative's wake. But when I finished my thought, she just stared at me blankly for several seconds without saying a word. That same day, she told my husband she thinks she has undiagnosed gestational diabetes. I had gestational diabetes during my second pregnancy. I think I need to be firmer about limiting contact. I already follow Megan's kids table advice pretty closely, though not 100%, and I also use Melissa's vent to the common disliker strategy. But even in one interaction, just a simple greeting or overheard conversation, she always does something off. Another example, she was mimicking all my Instagram stories. I have over 20 screenshots saved in a Google Doc, so I blocked her from viewing them. I also agree with Megan's interpretation that these blips on the radar are momentary setbacks to my big picture vision of having positive family relationships. Okay. After this one,
she's weird. She's just weird.
She's weird, and I think you're doing too much.
Yeah. Why the fuck are you seeing her almost once a week? That's
not
insane.
Just that. I think that you're taking the things that she's saying. She just is a random person, and I think you're taking the things that she's saying to heart when she actually doesn't actually mean them. She's just saying shit.
Why do we need to? So she thinks she has undiagnosed gestational diabetes, are we supposed to infer that she's lying? That she doesn't have?
I mean, she does lie about diseases. She's did that in the past.
I have to say though, undiagnosed gestational diabetes has got I know that still happens, but it is so heavily screened for at this point now.
Every time you go to the doctor, they're doing blood tests. You would know if you had it
because in general, they used to not, and it's really there's a very severe consequence, and also if she thinks she has undiagnosed gestational diabetes, that can quite literally you deliver a stillborn. It is not a hee ha ha kind of moment. So if she's not eating like she has gestational diabetes, if she's not telling her doctor, if she's not actually checking her blood sugar, if she's not doing all of that, then just ignore. Yes. It's not a personal slight against you. It just sounds like she's odd. It's not like she's odd just to you. She sounds odd. And now I'm really curious what your husband thinks. This just sounds like this is who she is, and she's a little fucking weird.
Yeah, she's just a little fucking weird, and I think you just need to take a step back and just accept that she's weird, and this is who she is, and stop taking it so personally. She was making fun of your Instagram stories. I get that. That's annoying. That's weird. you blocked her. That was the thing.
Yep.
But don't take 20 screenshots. You're giving too much of your valued energy to this woman.
Yeah. Does your husband want to cut her off? Because if he does not, that's not even on the table. Like, unless you want to divorce, are you going to divorce over his sister-in-law? Because, like, I will be honest, she does not sound neurotypical whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And, like, there are things that, like, can feel, like, off-putting or pointed or, like slights and passive-aggressive. And sometimes it is people, as a kid, something I used to do, which I, like, look back and I cringe on, is anytime I would talk to anyone who had an accent, I would start doing the accent back to them. And my parents had a friend who's this British lady, and every time she'd pick up the phone and she would speak in her normal fucking accent, I'm responding like I'm Oliver Twist. And I look back on that, I'm like, oh my God, but it was just, I wasn't medicated at the time, and it was just like, I was mimicking. Like, it was, and it wasn't ill intent, it wasn't anything like that. And like, I never once thought anything bad about it until I got older, and I was like, oh my God, why did you? Then it's like, I didn't try to do it. I didn't necessarily even try to stop. I wasn't aware that I was doing it. And I also wasn't aware of how fucking socially weird that was. Yeah. Like, and so I think for her, like, she does not sound like she has great social cues. She sounds like this. And especially like when you're like, she's just like, listen, staring at me. To me, that is not bitchy. To me, that is like
processing.
Yes. Like, it's not, and it's not personal. And so like, I think in this instance, like, if she is intentionally cruel to you and nobody else, and your husband sees that and is like, I want you to be cool with my sister being so going out of her way to be evil and cruel and awful to you, then I think you have a husband problem. Mm-hmm. But I think, like, if she's just a little fucking odd, and she's odd in every circumstance, she's odd in every situation, and like you said, like, every time you hang out with her, like, she just does something a little bit weird. Some people are a little bit weird, and like, she's either in your like, you either handle it because she's a part of your family, and you handle it in a way that you can deal with, which is not 4 days a fucking month, like, which is not like once a week. Like, that's way too much. And you do it in circumstances, you take her in the doses that you can take. And if you can't take her in any doses, then it is a conversation with your husband about the future of the relationship, and what, like, if this is not a cut-offable offense for him, I think it's a ridiculous thing to ask of him.
Yep. So I think you just got to accept her. And if you can't accept her, then don't spend time with her.
Mm-hmm. And like, you can send your kids over there without you. Like, she's not going to, it sounds like she's just odd, and you're not going to be able to make her not odd. And like, the person that you maybe want to hang out with and spend time with. Like, and at the end of the day, she's a fully grown adult. It's hard to change adults in that way. And I think because it's not like overtly offensive, like, she's not being like a bigot. It feels like this is just we're miscommunicating. How can we get back on the same? You're just on different wavelengths. And that's you. If you can't get to her level, that's fine. You can't expect her to get to yours.
Yep. All right. Well,
what a journey we've been on this one.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, you can leave us a voicemail, voice memo, write in the form, send us an email, send us a DM, all the ways we said at the beginning, to submit to an upcoming episode. If you're like, wow, they give such good advice, I want to get some advice from them. We are here for you. And we are here for you not just in this podcast, but we are here for you 4 days a week because we care. Mm-hmm. What are other podcasts?
So tomorrow we have Fisting Friday, where we're just catching up. On Monday, we have But Am I Wrong, where people write in and ask they're wrong in a situation. On Tuesday, we have See You Next Tuesday, where we take the votes from But Am I Wrong and share with the class and give some more insight. Wednesday, use that day to catch up. Maybe I'll put a random episode up. Who knows? Thursday, we'll be back for another brand new episode of Don't Blame Me.
Wonderful, fantastic. We hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Can you actually change your personality if you want to? How does peer pressure work, and why is it so powerful? Should you ever really trust your gut when you make a big decision? These are just a few of the topics we've recently covered on my podcast, Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and each episode of Something You Should Know covers multiple topics that are likely relevant to you. You'll discover things you can use in your life today, right now, like how to have a great conversation, how to be more courageous, the anatomy of the perfect apology, and much, much more. To date, there are over 1,000 episodes of Something You Should Know, and we've gotten over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews. I invite you to check out Something You Should Know. Look for the bright yellow light bulb on the blue background. Something You Should Know, wherever you listen to podcasts.
In humanity's search for other worlds, we found something unexpected.
It's a massive collection of tiny pocket realities, and each one is a story.
So we can actually transcend our usual 4 dimensions of space and time to go physically into these stories?
Yes, using the Muse Pod.
But when we explored those stories, things didn't go as planned.
Mr. Darcy? That horrid man.
I am Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
None of us have been the same since Beth died.
What happens when classic stories go wrong? I go in to fix them.
Ah, humbug.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?
For the love of God, Montresor!
Subscribe and listen to Muse, the latest audio drama from Dayton Writers Movement and Realm.
I am Dracula, and I bid you welcome.
From the podcast that brought you to each of the last lesbian bars in the country and back in time through the sapphic history that shaped them, comes a brand new season of cruising beyond the bars. This is your host, Sarah Gabrielli, and I've spent the past year interviewing history-making lesbians and queer folks about all kinds of queer spaces, from bookstores to farms to line dancing and much more.
For 11 years, every night women slept illegally on the common.
We would move down to the West Indies to form a lesbian nation.
Meg Kristen coined the phrase women's music, but she would have liked to say it was lesbian music.
And that's kind of the origins of the Comedy Fever Collective.
You can listen to Cruising on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes air every other Tuesday starting February 4th.